Okay, this is week 2 of the maintenance, or the new maintenance plan, trying to get everything back. So today is planche. Yesterday I done the 10 deficit handstand push-ups. Day before was the 10 Straddle presses. I've got these new P-bars now, which are like a medium height. So I'm going to try these out for the planche today. The goal is to get straddle planche 5-second holds times 10 sets. That's not going to happen today, but I'm going to try and get as close as I can to it. And at the moment I'm going to count the 10 sets, so 5-second holds, including the easier variations. So my warm-up's going to be some easier ones like the tuck position, so let's do one of those now. So hips in line with shoulders. I'm using my iPad there, so my eyes are looking down there. So I've got the screen, I can see what you guys are seeing on the camera, which is going to help me get the hip in the right position. But there's an easy, probably 10-second hold there. So I'm going to count that as set 1, and then we're just going to slowly make things harder. I'm going to start to open out towards the straddle position. Now my goal with the straddle planche is to get it so I have open hip like that. In reality, to start with, it's going to be more like this, so more of a closed hip, legs more straddle out to the side. But that's just a really cool way of slowly progressing your straddle planche from a closed hip position out to a open hip. Now the full open hip straddle position is basically the same as a full planche. But what I just started with was that full tuck planche position, so real tight ball position, trying to get really good protraction, so round in the upper back, trying to get the knees as close to my chest, heels as close to the butt. So it should be seen as the easiest position that is actually a planche because my feet are floating off the floor. Okay, and then for set 2, let's try and open that tuck up a little bit into more of an advanced tuck position. So advanced tuck is going to be bringing the knees more in line with the hips, so there. Now remember, if you are working towards advanced tuck, is the tuck planche to advanced tuck is a big gap. There's probably a few months of work to go between those two, and the good way to look at it is I slowly increase the range and the distance my knees are from my chest every 1 to 2 weeks, but I might only be moving a centimetre or 2. You might actually get stuck here for a while, because if you look what happens to the back as well, in your rounded tuck planche position, the whole spine can be rounded, but in an advanced tuck position or a flat back, you're extending the body out, which makes it much, much harder. But something to note as well, when you start looking at lots of people in tuck planche positions, you'll notice everyone's spine looks different. Some people have a flat back, even when they're in a tight tuck. Some people have a longer torso, and some people have a real hunchback position. So depending on your body type, limb length, and things like that, the planche is going to be different for each of you. Okay, so my advanced tuck. 5. Too hard to look at the screen then when I was doing it, but what I might do, and this is cool if you've got this type of setup, is there's my setup, or there's my video feed, is I'm going to put that down here so I can actually look at it while I'm doing it. Why is it upside down? It's not turning. So I wasn't 100% what that looked like, but ideally it should be something like that. Obviously the other foot will be off the floor. So next one, I'm going to start to open out a little bit like this. So going from advanced, so from tight tuck to advanced tuck to frog. So frog is seen as like a in-between for the advanced tuck towards the straddle. So it's moving the knee further away from the chest, moving the lower leg. So instead of being like this, it's moving it more like this, further away, but you still have bent knees. So set number 3, see if I can get a froggy position, 5-second hold. Okay, not too bad, I don't think. Okay, for our 4th position, or our 4th set, I'm going to try now to go from a frog position to a straight leg, closed hip straddle. So closed hip means I'm like this, not like that. That's fully open, that's closed hip. So this is going to be a little bit harder than that frog position, but not a big difference. Yeah, that's what I was aiming for. Definitely not a straddle planche, but I call it a high hip straddle or a closed hip straddle. Then for set number 5, I'm going to try and open that out a little bit further. Now this is where it's going to start to get very hard for me, but I'm going to try and get as close to that 5 seconds as I can in the best possible position. Now if you have the luxury of having different P-bars, so I've got a few different options. I've got these ones, this one, I've got the high yellow ones over here. I've actually got another set of these, the black ones, same as that. And then I have some fixed ones around the other side as well. Now they're all going to feel different when you go into your planche. The material makes a difference. The angle you put them at, but obviously these ones you can all angle differently or all the same. But the big difference is the height. Now the height is going to affect the way you get into it and how much energy you use to get into it. So if I use those yellow P-bars and my hands are up here, I have to elevate myself into that position. If I come out of an L-sit, in some ways that's a bit easier because I can move up into the position with some speed, but I have to catch the position. If I use lower bars and I have to come down into the position, that's going to be harder because I need to change direction or pause if I'm moving down. These ones are actually quite nice for straddle because I can near enough step into the position and open the legs out. But you'll have to have a play around and see what works best for you. Okay, so set number 5, let's see if we can open that out a little bit better. I think it was a touch better, definitely felt hard. So that's 5 sets done. I've got another 5 to do. Now what I'm expecting is going to happen, it definitely did last week, but I did do the bouldering first and I was pretty fatigued before I went into these, is that I ran out of energy on the last 2 or 3 sets and I had to bring it back into an easier position. So I'm going to try and max out for another couple and then I'm probably going to make it easier. I'll do a sped up version up here because I don't want to bore you with my sets. If you do have any questions regarding planche or any of the other calisthenics and handstand movements, stick it down below, or you can reach out via my website. I also offer the online coaching and have my app. And I'll speak to you guys in the next one.